Hello and welcome to F1 2016 Season 2 Singapore, following Monza last week. Didn't include qualifying, didn't record, but as you can see it's not a brilliant lap, especially when my PB is like a 40.3. So yeah, messed up my second run, invalidated my fresh ultra soft run. Wasn't particularly happy about that, but you know, P3, we're not too far from the front row, but we know it could be quite a difficult race. Not ideal. Regardless of that, we're gonna try and do the one stop. It says it's possible, and I know, you know, from practice, it's quite a nice strategy to do if you can maintain consistency. Helps with traffic as well, to stay out of the traffic, and of course, someone's guaranteed to leave and just rubbish all the slipstream, so there won't be any of that. Dropping the fuel to -3 laps. There's, you know, I was betting on a safety car really. I mean, a full safety car at least. I was expecting at least one safety car and maybe a VSC. So I made sure I've underfueled, so I'm not carrying around that extra weight towards the end of the race if there is a safety car. And of course it'll help me at the start too, because it won't wear my tyres so much, carrying less weight. Of course I'm putting less energy into them, meaning you get less wear. And that will help me extend my first stint, making my second stint a lot easier. So that was formation lap. Coming to the grid now. As I said, P3, Spike in second, Mystery Man in first. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're away. Spike gets a better initial reaction. We've had a better traction. Closing up on Mystery Man. Oh, there's not enough room there, and we've been slightly pushed off the track. And lucky I sort of backed out there. I've had to blank the audio because I'd had some choice words. Luckily, you know, we backed out of that, so Spike didn't get spun out. But look at the gap Mystery's pulled as a result. You know, Spike's trying to break the slipstream already. I'm quite eager to get past it now because, as you can see, whoa, that was close, but he's had a bit more speed on the outside. Quite eager to get past him because Mystery Man is pulling away very, very quickly. But at the same time, you don't really want to push too hard, because if you damage your front wing, that's pretty much your race over. So Kyle's waiting in the wings, lurking behind, see if anything comes about from this battle. But again, Mystery's, what's that? It's almost probably just about a second now. So the pressure's really on. Almost hit Spike there, double lockup trying to stop the car. You can see just gets a little bit of oversteer there, just over the white line, and we're going to go down the inside. Brake really late here, we're going to have to brake late. And he's dropped behind, but he's still there. We've left him a car's width, and we've managed to get the move done. That was very, very good. We didn't squeeze him. Great traction. It just worked out really well. Now we've got to set our sights on Mystery Man. Now, there are two ways you could play this race. You could go absolutely balls to the wall and put as much pressure on him as possible and hope he makes a mistake, right? Or there's another way. I managed to pass Spike within 3/4 of a lap, so if I push a little bit now, I'm expecting to pull a little bit of a gap on him. If I can pull a gap on Spike and then stay somewhere around the DRS range of Mystery Man, sorry, I don't know Rob there. Say somewhere in range of Mystery Man, maybe in DRS range, I can sit there, save my tyres, save the fuel the extra fuel that I need to finish the race, and just wait for him to, you know, push and wear his tyres and put the emphasis on the second stint, because these ultra softs aren't a very nice race tyre. They don't behave very nicely when you're, especially on high fuel. Once they get worn as well, it's just, you know, compound effect, and they're just not a very nice place to be. So the kinder you are on these, the better, more you're going to get out of your softs in the latter part of the race, and the less vulnerable you'll be to two stoppers as well. So coming into the middle sector now, so the field is still pretty bunched up. We haven't really closed on Mystery Man. I've gone for option 2 of sort of just going easy. You know, keeping a decent pace, big enough to pull away from Spike, but just going easy. But at this point here, unfortunately for Rob, this comes to a premature end. He hits the invisible wall, so he goes over the bridge, and I think he's about a foot from the support for the bridge, and yet bang, out. You know, great. Love the people who tested this game. Can't find out an invisible wall. We shouldn't really be testing the game, should you? But I mean, I've been put off a little bit because obviously I feel for Rob, because he's a cracking racer, and you know, as a team, we want to get as high a result as possible, and to go out on lap 2 is just not what you want, especially when you put practice in the week. You know, as he does, and it's just a bit of a bummer really to end up so early. But again, it really wasn't his fault. He didn't clip anything really, but he just the invisible wall. End of lap 2, we've actually gone fastest lap, and we've made a few mistakes there. We're not pushing standard lean revs. We're just going to stick with mystery, make sure we're in the range of DRS, and we'll see where we are come the pit window between lap 9 and lap 14. Lap 4 now, Paul retires from the session, and I do ask everyone politely if they don't leave to, you know, not trigger glitches. But lap 4, and Paul leaves. He leaves the session. Bit rubbish really, so there it is. And we know now that I definitely lost slipstream. I don't know who else will. It's a bit of a lottery as to whoever else does, but I've definitely lost it, so I know now that things are going to be really tough for the next 30 odd laps. Lap 5. Again, the gap's pretty stagnant to mystery, but look, we're in lean, 58, trying to wear the rears more than the fronts, because the fronts are wearing more than the rears naturally. Balancing the tyre wear, making sure we're saving a nice decent amount of fuel. I mean, we saved 0.4 of a lap already, so we're looking good. But at this point, we know we're gaining a little bit on Mystery Man, and you know, we're still just rich on this straight. Tyre wear, look at that, 30%, looking really, really good. Standard. Now we'll probably go back to lean for this last part of the lap. There we go. We're just trying to keep the pressure on Mystery now. We're just trying to see, you know, where strengths and weaknesses are, and put more emphasis on the second stint. You know, if we can save a bit of mental energy for the second stint, you know, I feel it could pay off. We're also thinking about the undercut. I mean, we're looking at, you know, possibly when our pit window is, the undercut's worth a couple of seconds around here. That's before you add traffic in, especially when you have ultra softs that are up in the 70s. You know, you're driving on cake essentially. We've gone wide there and lost the advantage that we have. So lost the gap. You know, the gap is now a lot larger. A bit of a bottle job, but you know, we close back up there in the next lap, so we know that we're really got some more pace. He actually hits the wall there, and someone else has crashed out. I think it was Crazy VSC. So your option is now. I've said box this lap just to make sure my options are covered. And I'm thinking, do I box? Do I box? If Mystery pits, I'm going to pit, right? But I need another 3 laps at least on these tyres to try and get the softs to the end. I'm thinking about it. Do I pit? No, I've stayed out. So that's crucial. Now the virtual safety car's ending and the tyres are cold, and Mystery Man's had a massive slide. Wow, that was incredible. How did he keep that out of the wall? We're in the slipstream here, but we're really not close enough to make a move. But we know he's under pressure. You know, he wouldn't have made that mistake if he wasn't under pressure. So we know what we're doing is working. We're sitting, he's struggling to pull away, and we're just sitting with the DRS that probably gives us a couple of tenths a lap as well. Just sitting here, saving fuel, saving the tyres, making sure we're all comfortable in our place, and waiting for the race to play out really. It's a very long race here in Singapore, and I know that me personally, I can't push 100% of it because I make mistakes. So at this point, I'm conserving mental energy, I'm conserving, you know, thoughts run to the second part of the race. But we've almost hit him there coming out the hairpin. Looking on the outside, we're going to make a move here. It might be worth it. And we've looked on the inside, but he's braked very, very late, and you know, we backed out of that. It's a half-hearted move, but we're showing him we're here. Look, mate, you're slowing me down now. I want to go. You know, I've got better tyres. We need to go and start pulling a gap. I mean, we're pulling enough of a gap already, but we need to pull slightly more of a gap just to make sure we're okay, because once we pit, we're going to drop into traffic. Trying to close up here to make sure I'm in range of DRS, but again, I've just missed the turn in there, and we've dropped 4 or 5 tenths. Tyre wear, not even 50% yet. We're 7 laps in with a quali lap, so we're looking good. DRS open now. Okay, so now I'm turning up the wick a bit. I really want to get past, because I'm on the back foot here, being behind. I've got to sort of react, but we've hit him unbelievably hard. But the thing is, nothing really happened to his car, so I think a bit of a desync issue there. Lucky not to lose the front wing. Lap 8 now, so we're in the DRS. We are very, very close. No slipstream, of course, but we think we might be running slightly lower wings. There's definitely no slipstream. We're going to go down the inside, look down the inside, and we brake later. We're going to make the move. We sort of Mario Karted there. We've not left him a lot of room, but he's still on the inside, so he's still got space on the inside. We've actually gone around the outside of that small little corner there, that small right-hander. because we let him come back on the track after we did push him wide. You know, we relinquished the position, and then he was able to take the corner if he wanted to, but he left us a lot of room. So, you know, it's great racing that, and we've managed to hold him off through this tight twisty bit. Oh, but we've braked on the outside the white line there, and we've pushed wide a little bit, but it means we had a great exit. So, you know, snip and tuck between us, but we've pulled a slight gap there, and that is crucial to just giving me a bit of breathing space. 8/10. So, lap 9 now. He's still in the DRS, and at this point, it's a lottery. Do you push and risk sliding and possibly banging your wing? Here we go, tyres on 50%. Or do you just, you know, sit, leave him in the dirty air and just wait for your pit window? I'm sort of half and half at the moment. You see 1.1, now he's out of the DRS. But the tyre wear is looking really good. You know, pit windows between lap 9 and 14, and we're only at 50% in this lap 9. So we did push for that lap eventually. We started to turn up the pace towards the end of the lap, and you can see it's just suddenly gone bang, 60%. So I'm going to pit this lap because I need to utilise this undercut, because if I hadn't pit there, I think Mystery would have pitted instead. So rather than come in at the same point as me and then be stuck behind me, he's going to try and go for the overcut. So this undercut now should give me a few seconds. We're talking fresh softs to knackered ultra softs.
The undercut, yeah.
But it all depends on the traffic. So if I come out in traffic, I'm screwed. Absolutely screwed. Kyle is closing fast. I think he might have already pitted, I'm not sure. I think he might have pitted another VSC. But we've got 1 or 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds to Kyle, and about 3 seconds ahead as well. So we've come out in perfect, clear air, and we need to push now to make sure we utilise this undercut. At the end of the outlap now, coming up behind the goal, that's how quickly we caught them. We caught up 3 seconds in, you know, less than a lap. There's Mystery Man in the pits. And we've come out ahead by a long way too. I mean, look, we're in turn 3 now, and he's still in turn 1. So that undercut has worked very, very well. Need to get past the goat as quickly as possible though, and he leaves the door open nicely for me. I don't think he's stopped yet. Maybe started the race on soft. DRS now. We're pulling away a little bit, so I don't think he's got slipstream. Either that or he's backed off because he doesn't want to fight it, which is, you know, kind of wise, I guess. Andreas Turbo's in front. Now he's 1.5 seconds in front, so and again, this is another critical part of the race. Do I push now while Mystery Man's in traffic to build a gap, or do I just ease my tyres in? Because of course I'm 1 lap worse on tyres than he is now because he's pitted the lap later. Do I try and negate the advantage he has by just driving really conservatively, save more fuel, save my tyres, and then I'll have better tyres for the end, because it's very likely that he's going to catch up. Now I'd rather do the race at the slowest possible pace I can, rather than put it in a warm crash. You can see he's not even in sight, so at this point I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to go with the, you know, take it easy approach. So I'm not going to build a gap, I'm just going to get past the traffic in my own time, save the tyres while I'm doing it, standard revs, lean revs, really gentle, so come the end of the race, when he's absolutely thrashed his tyres getting through the traffic trying to catch me up, I'm going to have nice fresh tyres and I'm going to be really composed because I haven't pushed all race. Whereas if I push now for 10 laps, trying to make a gap, and then he comes at me at the end of the race, I'm going to be mentally fucked, right? So here we go, here's Andreas. I don't think he's stopped either. DRS open, and very kindly he moves to the right, doesn't fight it too hard, braked late anyway, managed to make the corner. That was a fantastic move actually. And now it's just tracked him ahead, so a lot of clear air. This is 5%, we've done a couple of laps already, so we're really feeling happy at this point, and we're just waiting to see how the race plays out towards the end. Tracked him ahead, I think he's about 6 seconds ahead, 6 or 8 seconds ahead, so we want to see how quickly we may or may not catch him. On to lap 15 now. Coming down the straight, and Mystery Man makes a move on Andreas for P3, so he's out of the traffic now. There we go, he's past him. He's out of the traffic now, he's made up his time loss to an extent, and he's coming. So here's Tractor Man coming towards the end of the lap. I don't know if he's pitted or not. I don't think he has, because he wouldn't be in the position he is if he had pitted already. So I think he's on 17 lap old super softs, so he's really struggling. I need to get past Tractor Man as fast as possible, because if Mystery Man could catch up. I've got what, 2-second advantage to Mystery Man. He could catch up a lot if I make a mistake here or if something happens. So I need to get past Tractor Man as quickly as possible. You can see how much I caught up in the last sector. He's really struggling. Got a little bit easy in the last corner because I didn't know where he was going to brake, but he's moved over to the left, so I'm assuming that he's going to let me through. But at this point, I don't know what happens. We've made contact, and you can see it's thrown me off a little bit, so I felt a little guilty. But we'll come into analysing that at the end of the race. We're going to analyse all the incidents at the end of the race, go through them step by step. Lap 22 now, Mystery Man is about 1.5 seconds behind. He's just within sight. I don't think he has DRS quite yet, but I've run wide there, which could probably give him a few tenths advantage. But my TV decides, you know what, this is a really good time for me to turn off. So I've paused it, turned my TV back on, but there he is. So it's 1.1 going over the line, and he is in my arsehole. So lap 23 now, 8 laps to go, and he's here. Here he is, and I'm under immense pressure.
How the fuck, man?
There we go. Great TV. What a great TV. I've covered the inside here just in case he decides to go for a lunge, but he's, you know, in case he's got slipstream, because, you know, I don't know at this moment in time. We're not in a party together, but you can see the gap is 2 tenths. So I lost a second because my TV was like, do you know what, mate? I can help you out and turn you off. Oh, turn myself off. Regardless of that, now I've got to focus. I've got to focus now. My tyres have probably got at least 10% less wear than his. And I'm at a mental state. I know he's really, really strong, but I'm at a better mental state because I haven't had to fight my way through the traffic that much. Been really chilling the whole race, you know, saving the fuel. I mean, look, we've got 8 laps to go, and we're over our target on fuel. Yes, we're under for the end of the race, but we're over our target where we should be now. So gap is 4 tenths. We pulled 2 tenths in the middle sector, so you know we have the pace in the bag. It's just utilising that and making sure we don't make mistakes for Mystery Man to pass. Realistically, his best passing opportunities are if I make a mistake or if he gets a slipstream in DRS and passes. But you can see in this last sector, look how close, he's just closed right up. He's got a fantastic front end on that Mercedes, and I'm struggling in the Williams. Up to Rich now. What I'm trying to do is run it nice and slow in the middle sector and then have good pace in these sectors. You can see we picked up a 10th there, and that's crucial because he can't pass. Lap 25, same old scenario. He's closing up again. We're going to try, and we've got some lap traffic here, so we're really, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. But there we go, Steph retires. And I'm thinking, right, okay, this could be a safety car. I'm going to pit, definitely, because I've been in this situation before in SRL. So box this lap, I've covered my arse, and I'm just saying, right, if there's a safety car, I'm pitting, I'm ready for it. I'm waiting for it. George moves out the way really nicely, thanks George. I'm waiting for it. I am just waiting for this safety car to pop up now. I'm literally ogling the mini-map, missing my apexes everywhere. And it doesn't come out. We don't have a safety car, so crisis averted. I mean, there's nothing really to gain from it. It was just covering to make sure he didn't make any sort of move. Okay, so Carl's in third, Miles back, but Mystery Man is... See my mirror? There we go, yeah, it's like I've got a sticker of a Mercedes in my mirror. It's just there the whole time. But as you can see here, we're getting good exits off corners, and we're going slowly in the middle sector, slowly in the last sector, shoving it in lean where he's fast, so we're just holding him up in the places where he's stronger. And then in the only places where he can pass, we're stronger. We're sticking in Rich, we're making sure we get the good exits. Look how conservative we are. We're nowhere near the walls. Brake nice and early, roll the car in. He's just all over us. You can see he's missed his braking point there because we're in the way. We're essentially another chicane for him to dodge. Here we go, nice exit. Bit of oversteer, but we've nailed that at the time. So again, big gap now. DRS. Look how far back he is compared to where he was in the middle sector. In the middle sector, he was right on us, and now where is he? It's because that's how I'm managing the race. Lap 26, 5 laps to go in the sweatiest Singapore race I've ever done. He's right behind us, and it's a case of just keeping your head, because any moment he could just dive down the inside, or you know, anything along those lines. But he's had a poor sector 1, so we've got to get a bit of a gap here, but we're not getting carried away. We're just sort of You know, yeah, you can close back up in this middle sector, I don't care. To be honest with you. As long as I'm ahead on these bits, I'm happy. Lap 28 now, he is closer than he has been for about 5 laps. The gap is less than 3/10, so the pressure's really on to get a good exit coming out of this corner. I've managed to do it for the last 20 odd laps, out of turn 4, sorry. But this lap, we missed the braking point. Look how wide we've gone there. We're really wide, late on the power, and look how close he is. He's, again, his nose is in my exhaust. He's very, very close, but we left him space on the left. Is he going to go down the inside? He's going to make a move down the inside. Here we go. He's going to brake later. I've managed to brake later. We've managed to cover him off, but I've run wide, so he's gone back up the outside, which the outside for this corner is a risky place to be. I've left him as much room as possible, upshifted, rotated the car, but we've managed to stay ahead. I don't know how I managed that, but we've managed to stay ahead. It was complete role reversal from earlier on in the race. But is he going to make a move into this tight section here? Oh, almost. He did luck. But we've managed to stay ahead, and it's crucial now that we don't mess up this hairpin. There he is. He's right behind us. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's hit us. He's going to hit the wall. Oh, he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. That's got to be front wing damage. And he's come out that corner and hit the wall again through oversteer, and it's got to be some level of damage there. And it turns out, like, you know, a bit later on, he's dropped back, look, because it must have been damage. We managed to keep our exit straight, and he's dropped back quite a way, and we've only got 50% wear, so our tyre wear is really, really good because of what we did in the first stint. What we did in the first stint and what we did when we first came out, we managed the tyres well, ready for this point later in the race where I knew he was going to close up, right? So, unfortunately, yeah, he's damaged his wing, which means he's fallen back. Again, I'll analyse that after the race, but it does look like he's just hit me and then hit the wall. It is unfortunate, but he is pretty lucky not to lose a wheel. But again, here we go. Last sector now, 31 laps, the sweatiest Singapore I've ever flipping done. My head was pounding, my eyes felt like they were bleeding. But here we go. Gone to the start of this line now. And that gap's what, 5-6 seconds? And at the end of the race, we've come through to win. And that was just incredible. What a race. These are the results. I didn't get a penalty. I was the only one in the field who didn't get a penalty. Didn't get past this lap, but on the one made the one-stop work. Unfortunately, Rob was the first retiree. Really, really unfortunate. Really gutted for Rob because, you know, he really wants to finish the season strongly after a really strong mid-season. So, but anyway, yeah, that's another 25 points, and I'm really happy with that. Did have to go have a shower afterwards though, and a bit of a lie down, but I'll take that. That was really, really good, really, really good racing. But anyway, yeah, we're just going to look at the incidents now. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Just some incidents here from the F1 2016 Singapore GP. So we get a decent start. We had started Spike and Mystery, so we're closing. And here, this, you know, at first I thought this was a normal racing incident. Yes, I wasn't happy about it at the time,
like,
but I was
Spike just pushed me way off the
willing
track.
to let that go. But then maybe he didn't see me. But then, you know, if we slow the footage down, you know, the rules say that you aren't really allowed to crowd a car off the circuit. You're allowed to, you know, crowd on the circuit, but not off the circuit. So if we look at this now, yes, you know, I'm behind, but I'm entitled to track if I'm there. You know, the corner comes back. But if you watch Spike's steering wheel, watch him. He unwinds the lock there. He knows I'm here, and he's unwound the lock to make sure that he goes as tight as possible to there, and I'm left no room. So that's fine. I'll let that one go. You know, that's, you know, good, hard, aggressive racing. But this leads on to what happens a bit later on. So here I'm a bit quicker than him on this first lap, and I know I've got to get the move done because Mystery's moving, pulling away. So I've gone up the inside here. Braked later than him. First, second, third, rotate the car. Easily a car's width left on the outside there. You know, I'm not sure if there was contact. Obviously, I didn't feel anything, but you know, I wanted to make sure that there's absolutely no way you can prove he's been squeezed off or out because I've left a car's width. So you see he's a bit oversteering the exit, gets over the white line, and that pushes him a little more oversteering. So we've got a better run here. We pulled out nice and early to avoid any desync. Coming out to the right hander now, brake later than him. So you can see his arrow almost drops behind. Regardless of that, I've gone into first to rotate the car, second, third, still a car's width on the left, still a car's width all the time. So there's no way that can be put as an incident. It's a clean pass. Moving on now, lap 17. Tractor Man has been on these tyres from the start. So he's on 17 lap old super soft, so I'm pretty sure his pit window would have been already, because I know the pit window is like 14 to 17, so really he should like either be pitting this lap, but I think he's just staying out to hold me up. Perfectly allowed to do that. Nothing in the rules that says you can't do that. But you can see, look at that, I'm almost hitting here. I'm eager to get past, but I know it's not worth having an accident over. I'll get past him eventually, but you really should be pitting about now, but nope. Stays out. I know then it's going to be difficult, but he gets a bad exit out of here. I've got the DRS. Oh, look, he's pulling over to the left. Okay, so he's going to let me through. Not so. I braked very, very late, later than him, and turned in, and he's still there. Now at the time you can see, look at my driving now. I'm all over the place because I felt that shouldn't really have happened. But now looking back at the footage and thinking about what's the state of the race, I'm on, I think it's 5-6 lap old softs, and he's on 17 lap old super softs, and he wants to fight this out. Like, we're both on one stops. So here we go into the first corner. Okay, he's moved to the left. Oh great, cool. Brake later than him. He drops behind. There's still a car's width. There's still a gap. I actually turned away and he still hit me. So there's a car's width on the curb, to the curb, and there's room for both of us there deliberately, in case he did miss his braking point or something. But I think that was a genuine defensive move. There we go. Moving on a little bit now, 28. I got a poor exit here. Look, I'm braking way too late. Mystery gets a fantastic exit. He's right on my tail. So I know now this is going to be a pass for the lead. I've left him room on the left. Brake later than him here. Able to take the line because I'm braking later than him. But here, still ahead, still ahead, and I've left as much room as possible. If we slow this down, so at this point he's alongside me, just jumps ahead, but now he's back. So I braked later than him. Made the corner, haven't run wide, but he's obviously got a better exit. Still ahead by about half a car length. He brakes later here because I didn't want to put him into the wall, so I braked early. Here I am upshifting, make sure there's car's width, and there's a car's width there. I mean, it's tight, but there's a car's width. As good as I can do. And then he gets quite close here, but he's not going to make a move into here. He's too good for that. So I just got my normal pace through here. Now these tyres have done about 18 laps, 19 laps now. And you can see the arrow just flashes there, which means contact. Didn't feel anything, but you can see he's hit the wall there. And then I've gone wide here because I've noticed that he's come out of my mirror. So, and I think he's hit the wall there as well. But so at this point I know, like, he's behind me, and that's fine. I know that my tyres are worn, and I'm just focused on not going as fast as possible because I'd make a mistake and hit the wall. I'm focused on just Mr. Consistent, not making any mistakes, and we'll see where we go. So he's taking more speed in there. He's right behind me. He's really close now, and he seems to have got it. There we go. I've got a kicker oversteer, so he's got a better exit. I've just taken the racing line. It looks like he's hit me, and he's hit the wall. So probably lucky not to lose a wheel there, but at the same time, there's absolutely nothing I did there. So with Spike, yeah, that's racing. We'll put that down to racing. And with Mystery, again, I've left space, and unfortunately he's hit me going through that slow section really easy.